Okay, so this will be the first time that you see this lesson. We are talking about arithmetic sequences. We're going to learn something later on in the year called geometric sequences, but this is introducing that. We're going to keep them separate. So let's first go over some vocabulary. Arithmetic sequence is, and bear with me as I write this with my beautiful handwriting. Arithmetic sequence is a sequence in which, and I can talk faster than I can write, in which the difference between two consecutive terms, consecutive meaning one after the other, consecutive terms is constant. And I'll break this down for you here in a minute. What it means by common difference is the numerical difference, because what other difference is there? The numerical difference between any two consecutive terms. Okay, so arithmetic talks about a sequence of numbers where there's a pattern, whether it's by adding or subtracting, and it's always constant, never changing. The common difference is that pattern. So whatever I'm adding or subtracting by, that's what the difference is. So let's go over, just see if we can identify whether it is arithmetic or not. And then I'm not going to even go into geometric, so I'm just going to talk about, we're going to decide, is it arithmetic or not? And if it is, what is the common difference? So if I look at number 1, okay, look at the pattern, 1, 5, 9, 13. Am I adding or subtracting by a constant every single time? What would that constant, what that difference be? So if I look from 1 to 5, what am I adding or subtracting? Well, there I am adding 4. So now we're going to see, am I adding by 4 every time? From 5 to 9 is adding 4, and from 9 to 13 is adding 4. So since it is a common difference, okay, then it is arithmetic, so yes. And it wants to know what that common difference is, so it would, my common difference would be positive 4. If I continue, number 2 is from 1 to 3, which is adding 2. So all we're going to do is see, am I adding by 2 every time? Don't just take that first time as face value. So from 3 to 5, I am adding 2. But from 5 to 8, I'm not adding 2, I'm adding 3. So this one would not be an arithmetic sequence. And if there's not an arithmetic sequence, then there is no common difference. So my answer is just no. Number 3, from 8 to 6, I am subtracting 2. Let's see if we're subtracting 2 every single time. 6 to 4 is subtracting 2. 4 to 2 is subtracting 2. So so it is an arithmetic. It is an arithmetic because I am subtracting by 2 every time, so yes. And that common difference here would be negative 2 or minus 2. Number 4, from negative 5 to negative 8, I am subtracting 3. Be careful there. I'm not adding 3, I'm subtracting 3. And am I subtracting by 3 every time? Well, let's keep looking. From negative 8 to negative 11, yes. From negative 11 to negative 14, yes. So since it is a pattern, it is a common difference with consecutive terms, then yes, it is. And my common difference would be negative 3. Okay, number 5. From 5 to 10, I am adding 5. Let's see if we're adding 5 every time. 10 to 20, nope, I'm actually adding 10s. 20 to 40, I'm adding 20. So this one would not be arithmetic. This would be one of those geometrics, but we're not going to talk about that for a while. Since it is not arithmetic, I do not have a common difference. Number 6, from 7 to 6, I'm subtracting 1. From 6 to 5, I'm subtracting 1. From 5 to 4, I'm subtracting 1. So it is arithmetic because it is adding and subtracting by the same term constant. And my common difference would be negative 1. If we continue that, we're going to use that information, the common difference, to help us find the next 3 terms. So if I look, first we have to figure out, is it arithmetic and what's the common difference? So number 7, from 9 to 13, it is adding 4. From 13 to 17, it is adding 4. From 17 to 21, it is adding 4. So I know my common difference is positive 4. So what I'm going to do now is use this to find my next 3 terms, which in essence, it just means continue the pattern. So 21 plus 4 is 25. 25 plus 4 is 29. 29 plus 4 is 33, and so on. If I look at this one, number 8, from 5 to 2 is negative 3. From 2 to negative 1 is negative 3, or minus 3, sorry. And from negative 1 to negative 4 is minus 3. So my common difference is negative 3, or subtracting 3. So negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. Negative 7 minus 3 is negative 10. Negative 10 minus 3 is negative 13, and so on. From negative 8 to negative 2, that's adding 6. From negative 2 to 4 is adding 6, and from 4 to 10 is adding 6. Since I am adding 6 every time, my common difference is positive 6, so 10 plus 6 is 16. 16 plus 6 is 22, and 22 plus 6 is 28. So just taking it a step further, we're just finding the next 3 terms. Now, where it gets tricky is we don't want to... If this is easy to do, if they want me to find the next 3 terms, or the 5th term, or maybe even the 8th term. But if they want me to find the 19th term, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be adding and subtracting 19 times. Or sometimes they could take it a step further and ask for the 100th term or the millionth term. And we're not going to spend time adding over and over and over again, or subtracting over and over again. So we learned something called the arithmetic sequence formula, okay? Here's the formula right here. We don't learn a whole lot of formulas like you've learned in the past, so it's pretty easy to get used to and get the hang of, so let's go over it. So A sub n equals D, which stands for my common difference, which we've been talking about. N we'll talk about in a minute, but this is the nth term, so like here would be 19, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And then A sub 1 is whatever the first term was in that sequence, okay? So what we're literally going to do is take what we've been talking about this whole time and apply that to my formula right here, okay? So if I look at number 10, first thing we need to figure out is what my common difference is. So that means what's my pattern? From 7 to 13, I'm adding 4. Nope, that's not right. I'm adding 6. From 13 to 19, I'm adding 6. From 19 to 25, I'm adding 6. So my common difference is positive 6. Then they want to know what my first term was. Well, my first term is whatever the first term was, literally listed first. So 7 is my first term. What we're going to do now is take this and apply it to my formula. And you're going to see that it gets pretty repetitive, so let's go over it. So my formula is A sub n equals, I'm just literally writing this with my new information, the common difference, which was positive 6, parentheses n minus 1, plus, because it's positive 7, plus 7, okay? So there's my formula, all written out for me. But, and they could tell me to stop here. They could tell me, I just want the formula, here you go. But they could ask us to simplify this. And what I mean by simplify is distribute and combine. So like we've done in the past. So I'm going to distribute the 6 into the parentheses. 6 times n is 6n, and 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Bring down this positive 7 because it doesn't apply to the parentheses. And then I combine like terms. So I'm going to combine negative 6 and positive 7. So this simplifies to 6n plus 1 equals A sub n, okay? Now, you think we're done? All we did was write the formula. So you could see it written like this, or you could see it written like this, simplified. What they want us to do now is find the 19th term. I could have done it on paper. I could have done 25 plus 6, then that plus 6, then that plus 6, then that plus 6, until I get to the 19th, and it can get really, really confusing. So what we're going to do is use this formula as a shortcut. So where I see this n, we are going to put 19, okay, because they want the 19th term. So I substitute this n for 19, or evaluate it, so we're going to put parentheses 19 plus 1. All I've done is I replace n with 19 because they're asking for the 19th term. So now all I do is type this in, 6 parentheses 19 plus 1, okay. Hit enter, and my 19th term, if I were to do this 19 times, I would have 115 as that 19th term, okay? Let's do it again, because I know I went a little slower there, but let's do it again. 11, my common difference. So from 30 to 26 is minus 4. From 26 to 22 is minus 4. From 22 to 18 is minus 4. So the common difference is minus 4 or negative 4. The first term, which is the first term in my list, is positive 30. So again, I'm just going to rewrite this formula using these two pieces of information. So a sub n equals the common difference, which is negative 4, n minus 1, parentheses, and then my first term was positive 30, so I'm going to put plus 30. Now I distribute. So negative 4 times n is negative 4n. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. Bring down this positive 30 because it does not apply to the distribution. Then I combine my like terms. So I have negative 4n plus 43. So I could see my formula written, I don't want to confuse you, written like this, my original, or I could see it condensed and simplified to negative 4n plus 30. So same idea. Or 34. Why did I put 43? Good catch. 34. Okay. Now I'm going to substitute the 19th term. So where n is, I'm going to replace it with 19 using parentheses plus 34. And all I do now is type this in. So negative 4 parentheses 19 plus 34. And the 19th term, if I were to continue subtracting by 4 every single time, would result in negative 42. So that's my answer. If we continue this, let's practice it several more times. So number 12, my common difference from negative 11 to negative 8 is adding 3. From negative 8 to negative 5 is adding 3. From negative 5 to negative 2 is also adding 3. So my common difference is positive 3. My first term is the first one listed, so negative 11. Then I just rewrite that formula with these two pieces of information. So a sub n equals the common difference, so 3, parentheses n minus 1. And then my first term is negative 11, so I'm going to put minus 11. Totally fine if you want to put plus negative 11. Both ways are correct. Just be careful with the math. So then I distribute. So 3 times n is 3n. 3 times negative 1 is minus 3. And 3, that does not apply to negative 11, so bring that down. Then I combine here, negative 3 minus 11. So 3n is minus 14. So I could see my formula like this, or I could see my formula simplified like this. Then I'm just going to substitute in with 19 because they also want the 19th term. So 3 parentheses 19 minus 14. I just type that in. And then I hit enter. So my 19th term, if I were to add 3 over and over again 19 times, my answer would be 43. Number 13, my common difference. Negative 2 to 0 is adding 2. 0 to 2 is adding 2. 2 to 4 is adding 2. So my common difference is positive 2. My first term is negative 2 because it's the first one in my list unless they say otherwise. So then I rewrite my formula with these two new pieces of information. A sub n equals my common difference, which is 2, parentheses n minus 1. And then my first term is negative 2, so I'm going to put minus 2, or you can put plus negative 2. Both would be correct. Then I distribute. 2 times n is 2n. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, and that does not apply to this, so I'm going to bring it down. Then I combine like terms, so I have 2n minus 4. So I could see my formula here in the original, or I could see it condensed and simplified to 2n minus 4. Then I'm going to substitute 19 in. So 2 parentheses 19 minus 4 is 34. So my 19th term, if I were to keep going over and over again, would be 34. Number 14, my common difference from negative 16 to negative 21 is minus 5. From negative 21 to negative 26 is minus 5. And from negative 26 to negative 31 is minus 5. So my common difference is negative 5. My first term listed is negative 16. So now I'm going to rewrite that formula again. So a sub n equals the common difference, which is negative 5, parentheses n minus 1. And since my first term is negative 16, I'm going to put minus 16. Or you could put plus negative 16. Both would be correct. Then I distribute. Negative 5 times n is negative 5n. Negative 5 times negative 1 is positive 5 minus 16. Combine like terms. So I have negative 5n plus 5 minus 16 is minus 11. So I could have my formula like this, or I could have it simplified to negative 5n minus 11. Then I would substitute 19 in, like before, and all I do is type that in, negative 5 parentheses 19 minus 11. If I did it 19 times, my answer would be negative 106. Last one on this simple listing. Common difference, 101 to 92 is minus 9. 92... yeah, that's right. 92 to 83 is minus 9, and 83 to 74 is minus 9. That's not right. So my common difference is negative 9, not negative d. My first term is 101. So then I substitute into my formula. So a sub n equals my common difference, which is negative 9, parentheses n minus 1. And then my first term is positive 101, so I'm going to do 1 plus 101. Then I distribute. Negative 9 times n is negative 9n. Negative 9 times negative 1 is plus 9. And then does not apply to adding 101, so I'm going to put 101 on the side. Then I combine like terms. So negative 9n plus 110. I knew that. So my answer, my equation could be in the first equation or simplified to negative 9n plus 110. Then I'm going to substitute 19 in for n. Type this in, negative 9 parentheses 19 plus 110. So this would result in negative 61. So if I were to subtract 19 more times, it would result in negative 61. When I apply this to word problems, it is really no different. It's just taking what's in the word problem and applying it to this formula. So let's read it. You visit the Grand Canyon and drop a penny off the edge of the cliff. The distance the penny will fall is 16 feet for the first second, 48 feet for the next second, and 80 feet for the third second, and so on. You can already see where I'm going with this, right? So my order is 16, 48, and 80. There's my pattern. So they want us to write the formula and then solve what would the feet be at 6 seconds, okay? So let's first look for our common difference. From 16 to 48, that is 32, and from 48 to 80 is also adding 32. So my common difference is 32. My first term, which is the first second that went by, is positive 16. So in my new formula, I go ahead and substitute those in. A sub n equals the common difference, which is 32, n minus 1, and it's positive 16, so plus 16. Now, they could take this as my formula, yay, or they could ask me to simplify it and distribute. So 32 times n is 32n. 32 times negative 1 is negative 32. I'm going to bring this positive 16 down because it does not apply to the distributing. So then I combine here, negative 32 plus 16. So 32n minus 16 is my answer. That's the first part. They wanted the formula, so you could leave it here or you could simplify. Both are correct. Then they want me to substitute in for 6. Now I know what you're thinking, Miss, I could have added 32 3 more times and been done. That's totally fine. But if I had asked for the 100th second, then you definitely don't want to do that over and over again. So let's just practice with the formula. So a sub n equals 32. I'm going to substitute 6n for n minus 16. Then I just solve. So 32 parentheses 6 minus 16. And my answer is 176 after 6 seconds. Or I guess it would be feet after 6 seconds.